In this video, we will show you how to replace the brake booster on this Ford F-150. This will be located along the driver's side of your engine compartment. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. The first thing I'm going to mention is to do the brake booster, we're going to have to remove the master cylinder from this area because we need to have plenty of space to remove the booster from inside of the engine compartment. Along the top of the master cylinder, we're going to open up our cap. Just a quick inspection of that. We'll set it aside. Inside of this area, this is where the brake fluid is going to be located. Let's remove as much of the brake fluid as possible. For this, use a fluid extractor. After completing that, if you are looking along the inboard side of the master cylinder, you're going to find a wire connector for your level sensor. The locking tab for this is down along the bottom. We're just going to go ahead and squeeze that in and disconnect this. Thorough inspection for corrosion, and we'll set that aside. Now it's time to remove our brake lines. When we go to remove these, it's possible to still have fluid inside of the master cylinder, and we don't want to get any on the ground or on the paint. So with that said, I'm just going to use a small pad underneath this area to collect as much of it as possible. We're using a 13mm for our first fitting here. As you're removing your fittings, you want to make sure you're not twisting your brake lines. There we are. There's one line. Make sure you give it a thorough inspection. If it looks like it's rotted, weak, or damaged in any way, you have to replace it. This one looks fine. Let's get that next brake line. Just push this out of the way as necessary so we can gain access. Using a 13mm for this one as well. There we are, there's our other line. This one looks great as well. All that's left to remove the master cylinder is two 13mm mounting nuts. You can see one over on this side here. The other one's located in between the master cylinder and your coolant reservoir, right on the opposite side of the master cylinder. Same process, go ahead and remove the pair. Let's take hold of that master cylinder, we'll give it a slight wiggle and pull it out and away from our brake booster. With the master cylinder removed, we're going to start removing the vacuum tube that leads to the brake booster. For this, it has a small clamp. We're going to squeeze the clamp, we'll slide it out of place and remove the hose. If you find the hose is stuck in place, we're going to use a small angled hose pick here. We'll slide this into the hose. We're being extremely careful not to cause any damage. If you damage the hose, you must replace it. Double check to make sure it's not dry rotted, cracked, or damaged in any way. This one looks fine. I'm going to set it aside. Now let's pause in the engine compartment. We're making our way underneath the driver's side dash. Locate your brake pedal and brake pedal rod. Now looking in this area where the brake pedal rod connects to, this is part of your brake booster, which of course we are replacing. We're going to dislodge the brake booster from this area. For this application, you're going to find that you have a yellow locking clip that you're going to have to dislodge so we can remove this clip and then the clip that's under it. Now for this locking clip, I'm just using some long nose pliers. Looking along the rearward side here, we can see that there's two ears. I want to try to squeeze those together and we'll push this up and out of position, disconnecting each one of the two tabs from each other. And slide that off of there. Now sometimes this yellow clip will completely come apart, other times it will stay together like this. We just want to give it a thorough inspection, confirming it is reusable. If it's broken or damaged, you must replace it. With that out of the way, we have a clear view of this yellow locking clip next. We're going to start removing this. This is another piece that has to be in good condition. If this is rotted and weak, you need to replace it. Now we'll take hold of the brake pedal switch, which is this area here, and the rod. We're going to start sliding it out and away. Now we'll separate that brake pedal switch. You just want to pay attention to the orientation, so during the installation process, you install it in the same exact orientation. Let's get that adapter off of there. Let's follow the booster rod all the way towards the firewall next. In this area, you're going to find that you have insulation. The insulation is protecting these studs, and the studs have mounting nuts on them. So we're going to have to dislodge this at least enough that we can gain access to the 4 mounting nuts. For this, I'm just going to use an angled pick. I don't want to try to tear this in any way. I do, of course, want to be reusing it. I'm just going to try to slide it right off of there. There we go. Now, for each one of these mounting nuts, we're going to be using a 13 millimeter. There's 4 of them. There's one here, one directly above it, and then there's 2 more over on the other side. Now in the engine compartment, go ahead and take hold of that brake booster. We're going to start pulling it out of place. Just have to maneuver it around so we can remove it. Have a quick look at the original brake booster. Along the side that would be up against the firewall, you might find that you have a spacer. We're going to want to remove that from the brake booster, assuming it's on there. This could also still be attached to the firewall itself. We'll be transferring that over to the brand new brake booster. Now that we've completed that, prior to installing the new booster onto this area, it's a good idea to clean and inspect the firewall where it's going to be mounted. Typically, you're going to find a foam seal of some sort. For this, I'm just going to use a clean rag. I'll give it a gentle wipe. Let's prepare the brand new booster for installation. We're starting along the inboard side, or the side that would be up against the firewall. We want to add our spacer in this area. We'll just take this and we're going to slide it right over each one of the 4 studs. It needs to fit flush. Let's get this in place. As we bring this in, we just want to try to align each one of our studs and the rod with their corresponding ports here. We're being very careful not to cause any damage along the way. It's a little hard to see those ports. Now under the dash, we'll continue on with our locking nuts. We want to make sure we start each of these on before tightening any of them. Once you have them all started on, bottom them out, and then torque them to 18 foot-pounds. When snugging these, we want to do it in a crisscross manner. They're all snug. Let's go ahead and torque them down now. Perfect. For good measure, I'm just going to go around one more time. We definitely do not want this coming loose on us while we're driving down the road. Now we can reinstall our protective insulation. For this, we're just going to bring it right up and press it into place. Each one of the studs should slide right on through. Just double check, make sure that's secure so it does not hang down. You don't want anything getting caught behind your brake pedal. That can be an issue. Now we can prepare to install our brake booster rod. Let's make sure we install our plastic adapter that's going to come from the driver's side towards the passenger side. As we start bringing this into position, we also need to attach our brake switch. Make sure you have that in the proper orientation. We'll slide this right up and over that adapter, align the ports, and start sliding everything together. Now it's time for our yellow metal clip. Once again, if this looks like it's rotted or weak, you must replace it. This is a safety issue. After you confirm that that's properly secured in place, let's make sure that we lock that down with its yellow locking clip. Just bring this into position, lock it together. That's going to ensure that that clip cannot vibrate out of position. This is important. Now we're done under the dash, we're making our way back into the engine compartment. Let's start with our vacuum tube. We're going to bring this up into position, slide it on there as far as possible. Give it a slight wiggle, confirming it feels as though it's on there properly, and we'll continue on with our clamp. Slide the clamp up into its original position. This needs to have a good seat, otherwise you won't have vacuum pressure to your vacuum booster. Now it's time to install our master cylinder. Start bringing this into position. Line it with the brake booster. We want to make sure that that sits flush. Continue on with your two 13mm mounting nuts. Start them on, snug them up. The torque for these is 18 foot-pounds. Let's just double check to make sure that's properly secured. Now it's time for our lines. We're going to start with the rearward line first. When starting in your lines, you want to make sure they're as straight as possible so you do not cross-thread them into the wrong positioning. Now I've got it started in and I've confirmed that it's straight, so I'm just going to go ahead and snug this up. Okay, right there is bottomed out. We do want to make sure that it's snug, so I'm just going to take this a little bit further here. We obviously do not want to strip anything out. Double check to make sure it's secure. If the line can move around, more than likely the fitting is not tightened properly. Assuming it is, let's continue on to the next line. Bottomed out, just a tiny bit further. Now that we have those lines in there, let's continue on with our electrical connector. For this, we're just going to line it up, press it in, listen for a click. The locking tab should be down along the bottom. After an audible click, we'll just give it a light tug, confirming it's properly secured. Make sure the master cylinder cap's on, and let's clean our mess. Now we can get this out of here. We'll dispose of that properly. Now let's open up our master cylinder reservoir cap, and we'll just go ahead and top off our fluid. We're using brand new .3 or .4 brake fluid. It's really up to you. Perfect. Reinstall that cap. Okay, friend, we finished our installation. The next thing that we want to do is make sure we hop in the passenger compartment. We're going to start the vehicle and pump the brake pedal. We want to make sure that the brake pedal feels firm. If it doesn't, you need to continue on with your bleeding process. Aside from that, make sure you clean any mess and double check for leaks. Now we can start bleeding the brakes. We're starting at the passenger side rear. For this, it's going to be easiest if you have a second person. The second person will be inside of the vehicle and they're going to be pumping the brake for us. What we need them to do is pump up the brake approximately 3 to 5 times until it feels firm. Once it does, we're going to open up our bleeder screw and we're going to watch the fluid making its way out. We want to have only clean, brand new fluid, never any dirty fluid or even any air bubbles. I'm going to go ahead and remove this bleeder screw cover first. I have my collection receptacle, of course. We're going to recycle any fluid that comes out of this properly. Now on this caliper, I'm using a 10mm for my bleeder screw. Now as you can see, I had a lot of dirty fluid making its way out of there. Let's continue on with our bleed process. Go ahead and pump, please. Go ahead and pump. There we go. Now we got some air coming from there. Let's go ahead and bleed this again. Now, once you feel as though you've removed all the dirty fluid and air from in the system, go ahead and remove your apparatus, and we'll continue on cleaning our mess and reinstalling the bleeder screw cover for this caliper. Now, I showed you how to bleed the caliper on one side of the vehicle. You're going to go over to the driver's side and repeat this exact same process. Once you've completed that, make your way up to the engine compartment and top off your master cylinder. After that, we're making our way to the passenger side front wheel. After topping off that master cylinder, we're at the passenger side front, as I mentioned. Go ahead and remove your bleeder screw cover. We're using our 10mm for the bleeder screw here as well. Go ahead and pump up the brake pedal, please. Go ahead and pump. Go ahead and pump. Okay, that one looks perfect. Let's get one more here just to confirm everything's proper. Let's get that off of there. We can clean up our mess. Reinstall our bleeder screw cover. Now at this point, you need to go over to the driver's side front. You're going to repeat this exact same process, and we're ending back up under the hood. We're going to bring this all the way up to the maximum line. Just a little bit more. Reinstall your cap. Okay, friend, we finished bleeding our system. The next thing that you want to do is make sure that you hop in the passenger compartment, pump up the brake pedal, and confirm that it stays firm. After that, reinstall every one of your wheels and torque those lug nuts to 150 foot-pounds and take your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.